Hey, yo. What's up, Squid Squad?
Is that copyrighted music there? I'm hearing, Angel.
I plead the fifth.
The fifth.
I plead the fifth.
What is that? Doyle, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth.
That's what she said.
She did not say that. I've asked her to say it a few times, and she doesn't say it. She doesn't really say much of anything when I try asking her to do it.
Well, yeah, blow-up dolls don't talk. So, how you been, dude?
Why are you talking about my blow-up doll, bro? You know, I told you not to bring that up on air.
You leave Susie alone. She's a saint.
She's a saint. Susie the saint.
She's a brick. Ow.
No, she's a plastic doll.
Delectable, inflatable.
She cleans so easy. Just wiping her all
Inside
way
out.
down.
Oh, that's foul. That is some foul business, guys.
She's a flashlight.
Nasty.
Anyway.
That's kind of on the nose there. She's a fleshlight. Because she would not be a fleshlight. She's a doll. Like, a fleshlight's literally like a flashlight looking thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
With-
Kind of gross. But
It kind of looks like an ice cream, though. That's what creeps me out. Have you guys seen that?
I saw it when they first appeared and they were all over the internet, and I'm like, what the fuck is that for?
It looks like an ice cream because, like,
Okay.
that bulbous part on the top with, like, that weird... Oh, dude, it's
Dude,
just...
okay, I'm a pervert and all, but how can you get hard to that?
I don't know, dude. It's... Okay, look, man.
Is that just like an incel tool? Is that what it is?
No, because, okay, think about it this way. American Pie had something going for it, man. The whole thing about, like...
No.
No, you hear me out on this, man, because some guy wrote that from experience, and a lot of us back in the 90s watching that movie were like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. And I'm going to admit something here on the air, dude.
What?
When I was in the 8th grade, it wasn't a pie, bro. I'm going to say it. I had this, like, you were in Suva, weren't you? You were in a BGI? Okay, so I went to BGI, and there was a teacher named Miss Chen. She was an Asian lady, probably.
She took it on the...
No, just shut up. Let me tell you this, man. She was a wonderful teacher, and I defouled her in my mind because I was a horny little 8th grader who had a huge crush on her.
Was she like a long jet black
No,
hair?
not at all.
Petite?
She had short hair.
Is this something that's going to defy the statute of limitations?
I think
You're a teacher now, sir.
It was no nothing.
So it's okay now.
Only in my mind, bro.
It's okay now.
It did not. Nothing happened. Of course not. I mean, I'm in 8th grade. I'm not. And she was a respectable teacher. In fact, she was a wonderful teacher. But the problem was that I had a huge crush on her, and so I would go home and that you go through that phase when you're, like your body's going through changes, and I was just getting
sir.
exactly. I was getting like involuntary flush of blood in places that shouldn't. And so what did I do? Because I was all alone, I kind of was laying on the sofa, and one thing led to another, and me and that sofa
You JD Vance it?
I JD Vance the sofa.
That's nasty.
It is very nasty. I apologize to all the Squid Squad out there who has sat on his sofa.
The views of Enrique are the views of the podcast.
That sofa has been long dead, okay, since like I killed that sofa.
Inside.
That sofa feels shame.
Hello there.
It's somewhere out in like the county dump, like 30 years removed from my life.
It's just looking at itself in the mirror going, how could you let this happen?
Where have you gone? Oh,
She was in the fetal position in the shower.
Poor sofa.
Fleshlight was made for moments like that, and it's I would never use one now, but I don't know if I was in the 8th grade and feeling that I probably would be just as
Never say
ridiculous
never, bro.
as anybody else.
That couch begs to differ.
No, they're ignorant. That's ignorant.
You guys, man.
Oh, man. We missed you.
Yeah.
Can you tell?
No.
The fleshlight sofa JD Vance talk is like... Yeah.
This is what we do, huh? This is it.
This is
Welcome to the show.
This is the show.
Dude, I didn't even tell you guys about my trip to Mexico. Honestly, it was crazy, man. So when I called you guys that night, actually, I had a really rough day that Saturday because you guys recorded on the Saturday. Am I right?
No, we recorded on
a Friday.
On a Friday.
Okay, so scratch that. Then the following day, I had a terrible day. I'll give you the short, truncated version. In the morning, we were heading into one of the nearby cities. So like Guadalajara is like way in the south of Mexico, and it's one of the major states. And I'm sure you guys have heard, like in the news, like most of the current cartel stuff is happening there because, that's kind of where it's happening. And so my story has nothing to do with cartel other than the fact that we were backed up in traffic trying to get into Zapopan, which is a nearby province of Guadalajara.
It sounds like something good to get in the bakery. But go ahead.
It really does, right? But no, it's a very like uppity kind of like, think of it of like the west of LA. Like it's a very ritzy kind of money flushed area. We're heading over there because my kid has a doctor's appointment there, and we're backed up on the freeway. It turns out that there was a guy who got into a fatal motorcycle accident, and our driver, they call them Uber drivers. I think I've told you guys this story before, but Uber drivers in Mexico are not really Uber. They're just like a conglomerate of jitney, like kind of jitneys where guys,
Did you say gypsy?
Jitney. Jitney is it's an old term from New York where unofficial taxis, fake taxis. Back in the 60s and 70s, there was a war between jitneys and taxis where a conglomerate of people were trying to ferry people around for money, and the taxi unions, like, it was bad. A really good author, August Wilson, I think, did a whole play called Jitney about it. So it's actually tied into like the Black African American experience of the 70s when it comes to like stories that you hear, and the Jitney's a popular one. Anyways, I digress. What happened was these Uber drivers are kind of like that. They're conglomerates, and they have to pay the nearby plazas, which is the plazas are like the cartel guys. They have to pay them for the privilege of working, and because of that, they're connected. They all talk to each other. Anyways, we're stuck in traffic, and a fatal motorcycle accident happens. 2 minutes later, our driver already has a picture of the dead guy on his phone, and he shows us. Really? Well, no, dude, it was like pretty traumatic, only because my kid was asleep between me and his mom, like in the backseat of the car, and he turns around and says, "Look," and like I just see this like picture of this dead guy on the floor, and all the viscera from his stomach just out on the floor. It was pretty gruesome, and so he decides like to circumvent some of this traffic by taking us off road. But here's the thing, you don't do that in Mexico. At least you shouldn't, because all of these off-roads are owned by ranchers out there, and some of these ranchers might be connected. And so as we're driving through these roads, we're getting all these looks from these trucks and guys that are sticking out. So think of like these back roads that have they're not paved at all, and they're all bouncy and stuff, and there's a lot of like weird, it was a weird vibe. We got weird looks, and the whole time I'm thinking, okay, is this safe? I mean, there was other people going along with us because everybody's trying to sort of find an alternative route, because this is the only highway into Guadalajara. And so we finally
dark desert highway.
we finally make it around. We finally make it around the body, the traffic, and I'm thinking that we circumvented the body, but nope, there's the body on the floor. There's the viscera on the floor. Now, when we get into the city, a separate story is, dude, we're in this really expensive mall eating food, and there's just people walking around with machine guns, like security guards. It's the trippiest thing, and they're supposed to kind of instill safety and security in you.
But it doesn't. Dude.
It doesn't. Very not. So not. And then the third thing that happened is I got stuck in a flash flood.
Did you ask one of them?
I saw your story.
Did you ask one of them? Can I hold your gun?
Hell to the nah.
Why?
I don't. You're gonna walk up to like security guards that have the colors of the Next Generation Cartel on their jackets and ask them, "Can I hold your gun?"
Yes.
Oh, brother,
that's who I need to be a friend. You make friends with the guy with the machine gun, and then when they start shooting, guess who's not getting shot?
That's
actually pretty smart, dude.
It seems smart, but I'm kind of a wuss.
Until it becomes a fucking drug mule.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting paid, right?
I'm not even gonna joke about that just because I'm cool, man. I'm gonna tell you what, like, I'm scared of that sort of stuff. I'm just gonna only say.
Do you hate Mexicans?
I'm just gonna say you're never gonna live forever. So you know what? You might as well die doing something glorious and something lame.
Sure.
Oh, I laid in a hospital and I died. What a lame.
Oh no!
What a lame story. But, I was hustling some drugs for the cartel, and then we got into a shootout with the federales.
I was popping out my fourth balloon when all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You gotta go out like a champ.
You guys are.
You got to go out like a champ, Enrique.
I'm good. So changing the subject.
So flash flood.
Flash flood. Flash flood. Darndest thing, man.
I saw that movie.
You guys have never been in a flash flood, not like this. You see it in the TV. You never think it's going to happen to you guys. You never think that you're going to be in a car and you're going to be like submerged in water. You think like, I would have done something different whenever you watch it on the news.
I peed on myself once.
How is that the same?
Just once?
I was submerged in water. It's the
Just
same
once?
thing.
Okay. All the time. No, I've never been in a flash flood.
See what I don't know what to do with any of this.
I don't know. I'm actually listening to your story for once. I'm like concentrating.
Okay, I'm the one that's cutting them off. Okay,
Yeah,
my bad, Enrique.
you're the angel of the day.
You may continue.
Go on.
No, you can cut me off. I'm just like, I don't know what to do with any of this. Like,
Just move on. So you're in the car. You hear a rumbling. It's not your belly.
Whoosh, and go.
And scene.
okay, so no, we got so our driver is driving.
Your
up the
driver's
street.
driving. What the driver's driving?
Enrique, I have to apologize because once the interruptions start,
Stupid idiot! You guys don't deserve
Okay.
this story. I ain't telling you.
So your driver was driving.
I know. No. I quit.
tell the Squid Squad who's listening.
Yeah,
I-
talk to them. I'll mute us.
I'm quiet.
Hold
quitting.
on. I'm gonna mute us. Hold on. Go ahead.
See, this is the power that I'm talking about. There's an imbalance of power here. Let me get on my soapbox.
See, now you can talk.
Yeah. God damn it. All right, guys. So I'm stuck in water. My driver turns around on the street and puts us up on the sidewalk as we watch other people not do that. And like their cars are shutting off around them. And we're there for like an hour waiting for the water to subside. And police pull up next to us. I'm thinking we're going to get arrested. Turns out that he's trying to do the same shit we're doing. Excuse my language. Sorry. He's trying to do the same stuff we're doing. And then finally our driver gets really daring once the water goes down a little bit, and he just decides to go, even though the water's still very high. He just goes back up on the street and drives up through the four-way stop sign where the water was at its worst, and there's literally a bus there like submerged in the water, and he's able to make it to the other side. So I'm pretty sure everybody after that started following his lead. It was pretty scary. Because you're out somewhere where you don't have AAA and friends and people that can help you. And I'm thinking like, okay, we get stuck out here. Who are we going to call? Not Ghostbusters, that's for sure.
But when the flash flood started, was it like a trickle down effect, or was it like that tram ride in Universal Studios when you're in the Mexican town and you just see this wave of water coming from the hill? And oh my god!
No, it's like
El agua.
you're driving on the street. Lots of water's coming down, and it's like you're driving anywhere here in LA, and it's raining hard, and you're just going about your business thinking you're gonna make it where you need to go.
Man.
But see, that story tells me that you got to take chances. Because if your driver hadn't took a chance, so next time ask to hold the machine gun. Just saying.
Next time,
What
balloons up the ass.
What does the machine gun have to do with any of this?
That's how you befriend them. That's the cold
Machine guns would have made this story 1,000 times cooler. I'm just
It's a
saying.
circle. It's a
Machine
circle.
guns make everything better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially
Are you a racist?
especially shooting bullets.
You guys are degenerates, is what they're. Not racist. Just a bunch of degenerates.
No, tell them the story about our group text today.
Break it down.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm done. I quit. I quit.
Generation X. No, you don't quit. You can't quit us. Get over here.
You don't quit me, I quit you.
I quit you. She. What do you think you are, George?
Strong arm this man. Strong arm him.
You know, the more you guys keep on bringing, we're gonna have to pay him for every reference we make. You know that, right?
No, we're not. We're not paying them shit. Shit.
Shout out to George.
He doesn't listen.
He doesn't listen.
No one listens. Not even us when we're on the show. Don't you see what Enrique's going through?
Oh yeah.
That's actually true. You guys don't even listen on the show.
Not even when we're recording.
Man, oh man.
So what else, dude?
Drinking game. Every time they cut me off, please take a shot.
You're gonna get plastered
Here's
in
the
like 10
second part.
minutes.
Anytime Doyle goes on a soapbox and none of us cut him off, take a shot because that's gonna be a lot. Because we let Doyle go off on all his tangents and just let him go through. Like I counted. You got some good points. And Angel over there, every time he puts like one of his little radio jokes or one of his little sound effects, take a shot. Yeah, there you go. Let's all get drunk together.
This show would be awful. You would wake up and hate this show.
Fucking bullshit!
Hey, whoa, we're gonna have to retire that one.
No, we're not retiring.
I don't think that you could get. You know what? You don't even have to wake up to hate this show. I think the Squid Squad has already spoken. They hate us. They don't love us. There it is.
Go on the Discord and let us know.
Okay.
No, we actually have consistent listeners in certain areas for some odd reason, but I don't know why. Well, they don't communicate with us.
My mom says you're welcome.
Oh, is that who it is?
You said consistent. You sure you
Hi, Mom.
constipated?
Both.
We did pay a couple people to listen every week. I gave this little kid $5 to just log in every Saturday.
I hope he's 18, dude. 'Cause
What?
you paid a kid? Yeah. To listen to this?
What you mean? They hear worse stuff on YouTube.
I'm kidding.
Did you not see the trailer for Deadpool?
The trailer for Deadpool.
Yeah, isn't Wolverine dropping all kind of F-bombs on the YouTube trailer?
He is. Actually,
Yeah. What's the worst that they're gonna hear?
We've had 13 listeners in Washington this last episode.
They're all politicians.
We've had a few in Oklahoma, a few in Illinois, Nevada, and Virginia, and it's been the same kind of every so often. And then of course
Nevada.
Brazil for some reason.
Brazil, what's up, Brazil?
So we have listeners.
You know what? New Orleans is kind of cool. That
I love
actually,
NOLA.
Yeah,
I miss New Orleans.
I want to go. I'm gonna go and buy myself a parade because I don't drink. So all my money's going to a parade to celebrate me.
You know, you don't need to drink in New Orleans.
I know you don't. You don't need to drink anywhere, but people do, and it makes their time better. But for me, I'm sober, so I don't drink. And so, what else am I gonna do with my money when I go there?
He's
except
high
for
in his
eat?
own. He's high in his own BS. That's what it is.
I'm not high on anything, but what else am I gonna do? Treat myself like I'm special.
Treat
'cause
yourself.
I don't drink.
Treat yourself. Did you listen to the last episode, Enrique?
I
Even
did.
though you went down them?
I did.
What'd you think?
Yeah, they were good. I really enjoyed the one with Brian.
Both of them with Brian.
Let me just.
Wait a minute. There were two of them with Brian.
Two with Brian.
Oh man, I
Actually,
see,
the second one
see?
he doesn't listen.
Yeah, see.
I listened.
The second one actually has all the nerds, by the way, especially and
Yeah.
the new one.
Yeah.
When did it come out?
This last Saturday.
Oh, that's probably why. Because I checked on Friday and I thought that you guys only recorded one. I thought you only recorded the one with Brian, the first one with Brian, and I listened to that one and I thought, okay, well, I guess we ran out of show. So when I checked, I think last week I checked again because the prior week we didn't play anything, if I remember.
Yeah, we took a small break.
Yeah, and so I thought that was indicative of us not having any show.
No, we took a little hiatus.
Dang. Okay. No wonder.
But we have two episodes. The first one was with Brian with the announcement that
Called
he's
Life
gonna be
with
a
Brian.
Daddy. I know.
That's the one I heard. That was a good one. That's the one that I tried calling in and it was a mess.
It was a robot.
You know, okay,
It started off pretty good.
Yeah,
here's what it is.
it was the flash flood.
You couldn't. Well, yeah, there's a lot of rain. It was raining, but no, also because it's the Google number, dude. They just trash. Instead, next time, just let me call directly to your phone because I have T-Mobile. I mean, I got unlimited minutes. It's not
Are
going to
you
affect
sure?
you.
I think T-Mobile might be to blame because
No, it would have been fine.
T-Mobile drops calls in my office all the time.
But
I'm like,
yeah, but at least you don't turn into a robot halfway through it, you know?
that might have been the Mexico T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
Maybe. I think it's called. I think
T-Mobile.
they call it Tercel or I forget what they're called, but they do have a different name.
I call it a ripoff.
Maybe.
Just saying. 87 pesos. You're tripping.
87 pesos. Are you even up with your current exchange rate on money?
No, I ain't been
87 pesos?
nowhere.
What is it? 130?
Dude,
I haven't been to Mexico since 2000.
All I know
Five.
is I could take what I make and go to Mexico and live like a king. I'm the king around here. Hi, Mr. Cartel. I just want to say, mi gusto.
Me gusta mucho.
Hola.
It's
¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
so for 1 peso, it's 51 cents.
51
Nice.
cents for 1 peso. Okay, that's the exchange rate.
Yeah, so
So a dollar is how much?
Not enough.
$1 would be probably like a peso and a half, I think.
Make it enough.
See, that's not bad.
Let's see here. So let's see, $1. Yeah, it would be 19, almost 20 pesos.
Okay, all kidding aside, can you see yourself living in Mexico? As a Mexican American, can you see yourself living in Mexico?
Mexican
No.
American.
Me neither.
No,
Me at all.
Why?
not at all.
I can't. I don't see myself at all.
Why?
I love visiting. I love my culture. I can, but I'm not. I'm Mexican American. I'm not neither from here nor there.
Press the Mexican button. What do you mean?
¿Qué?
Press the racist.
Yeah, or the one you
Yeah.
do you hate
Which one?
Mexicans?
Yeah.
Oh wait.
You hate them.
Man, you're a terrible
Do you
soundboard.
hate Mexicans?
Yeah, you're
That
a
one?
terrible
Yes.
soundboard guy.
I'm actually having a conversation and listening. If you want, I'll check out again. I'll be in
Okay.
the background.
no, I'm just messing with you.
What is your issue with
I love you,
Mexico?
Angel.
Shout out Mexico.
I love Mexico.
Okay.
I'm not saying that I don't love. I do. I love the food. I love the culture. I do, but it's not somewhere that I can live in. Like I can't do the exchange.
What's
Like-
the reason?
Like I tell my mom, like she gets mad at me because like she's like, "Oh, you're so Americanized." Well, I was born and raised here. I think
That's fair.
I think in English. So for me to translate everything into Spanish, I have to translate it. It's not instant. Like like a Mexican born Mexican. You know?
Okay, as an English only speaker, for anybody who's listening, like what you just said is a big thing. Like they did this recent study and it said that anyone who speaks two languages is like bipolar in a sense because you think in both languages.
Yeah.
And so to think in English and then to translate into Spanish is more of the Americanized way of
Yeah,
thinking.
it is the Americanized way of thinking.
Whereas some people think in Spanish and then translate into English.
Usually, it's people that are natural Spanish speakers.
Their first language.
You got to give them credit. Yeah, a lot of people make fun of people with accents, but dude, most Americans only speak one.
Right.
And that's bad English.
Yeah.
Like we don't even speak, correctly.
Yeah.
Come on, all there is. Get the fuck out of here. Anyways, but when you're a Spanish speaker, you got to translate. It takes you a while, so of course you're gonna have an accent because your tongue's not used to it. We don't sound great when we're talking another language. Mexican Americans, we don't sound great speaking Spanish. It's all fucking mucho, dude. It's like it's messed up.
There's that. No, to answer your question, for me, the reason I wouldn't want to live there, the reason I don't see myself living there is because culturally speaking, I don't fit.
Yeah, that too.
I don't have any autonomy there. I don't feel, no, actually not autonomy. I don't feel any agency, meaning I don't feel like in control of my life over there. I feel I would be very much tethered to the small areas that I live in. And I think it's different. Okay, look, my experiences are this. My experiences are going to visit in a small little pueblito that's like 30 minutes away from the main city, which is Guadalajara. Now, that little area, it's quaint, it's beautiful, it's near the mountains. Lots of really good food, local food. I mean, honestly, it's idyllic in one sense, but on the other, like, dude, you don't have access to police. You don't have like public works. I mean, yes, they have like running water, and that's all great and good, but it's a system that just doesn't make any sense to me. I feel very disconnected, and generally speaking, I feel unsafe. I don't know why. I can't quantify
Because
you
you're out of
don't
your
have a
element.
machine gun.
No, because shut up. Because you're out of your element. That's what it is. So you don't feel safe.
I don't feel safe.
That's human nature. Like anywhere.
Okay,
Let
you
me
guys are-
retort. I grew up between LA and Mexicali. Every chance we had, we would go to Mexicali all the time. I have a set of friends out there. It's like Cachanilla, like it's the whole fucking thing. I have family in Chihuahua. I have family in Hermosillo. These are all
Chihuahua.
places that I've actually visited, and they're big cities, except for Hermosillo. That's kind of smaller, but still, it's a big city. And I love it. I have a great time and all that, but it still feels foreign to me because it's not what I'm accustomed to. So it's not a thing for you. I love the idea of the small like ranchitos and all that stuff. I do love that idea. I've never actually been to one, but I've been to the big cities. That's
Right.
where I've been to. And even then, it just doesn't have a lot to offer for me. Does that make sense?
it does.
I'm gonna blow both of your minds. I don't feel at
For
home
living.
I don't feel like I have agency here like you would think. It's
I don't either.
Being black in America, you don't feel like
Wait,
like
you're black?
No, but at any given time, like the world can flip upside down on you, and your whole life can go really bad, really fast. And like,
I'll be quiet. You're black. Anyways,
growing up like that, like it to me, I'm actually treated better in Mexico than I am here. At times, like I'm sure if I lived there, then there would be plenty of time for things to go sour and, you know, go bad. And then I'd be like, oh, never mind. I don't want to be in Mexico, because then, you know, I probably don't have as many resources to recover. But my experiences, like anywhere foreign, actually, you know, in America, you're looked at sideways no matter what you do. You know, the whole clutching your purse thing is a real thing. I was in Nebraska, and Nebraska made me feel just as uncomfortable as any other thing. And I guess, like, you know, especially like the way we grew up is you protect yourself, you know, like if somebody breaks into your house, yeah, some people think that calling the cops is a good idea, and to a certain degree it is. But if the guy gets into your house with a gun, then the cops have to get there to save you. And for me, whenever I think like that, I don't feel safe calling the police. I feel safe taking my own survival into my own hands. So as safe as I feel is my ability to figure out a solution to survive. So that's I don't know, that's in contradiction to how you guys feel a little bit, but I mean, you know,
I get that you.
I get your feeling. Yeah.
Well, no, I was going to say that I get the sort of similarities you're trying to draw, but I think ultimately you do have parts of the system that are in your favor here, and maybe not in your favor, but that would be on your side. And I think culturally speaking, in Mexico, I feel like that's not the case, and I think it depends on the area. Like I remember I was having this conversation with Louis. I would say years ago he was a little bit more on board, but recently, I don't know, he kind of had like this, like, you know, like this, I guess, epiphany about how it is. And so he was telling me that it's that it's not every place is like that. And he makes a good point where, like, my experiences have been mostly in the little small pueblitos where there isn't a lot of people there. And maybe comparable would be if I lived like somewhere in the rural parts of like the Midwest or the Mideast here in America. It might be the same way where I don't have a certain sense of autonomy. In a very white town, I probably would be out of place. And maybe I would feel like the local, like, you know, systems like the police and the firemen wouldn't necessarily be there for me. So maybe that's also true. I mean, I would even argue that that's probably most likely true. My current experience has, I don't want to say it's negative, because my kid's mom does a really good job of trying to kind of buffer me from all that stuff, because whenever I'm there, you know, she makes sure that, you know, takes me to places that are interesting so that me and my kid can have a nice time while we're there. But that's the other part of it. I don't necessarily like being in somebody else's hands when it comes to visiting places. So, for example, when I used to take these trips up north, I always wanted to take my car. I hated flying out there, not because I hate flying, but because I want to have control over my itinerary. I want to have control over, like, if I need to leave, I want to be able to leave, you know? I want to have my own car, all that stuff. And so in Mexico, it's that, but to the nth degree. I cannot go anywhere because I couldn't even call an Uber or taxi, because the Ubers there are people that you know, and you have them on your WhatsApp, and then you call them, hey, you know, hey, Sam, can you take me to here? And they'll say, oh yeah, we can take you, and that's that. I don't have that, so I am literally stuck there. Like if Stephanie, my kid's mom, like, died, you know,
shout out to the ginger.
Yeah, if she died, and I wouldn't know how to get home from there. Like, I mean, I'm sure I could figure it out, but it would be a huge undertaking.
Enrique would be downtown looking around going, ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó?
And I guess, you know, that's the thing. I shifted my mindset years ago, where I just started to think, like, if I was, and I know these are like extreme thoughts, But if you were in some sort of situation where you were in not even a foreign land, just in the wrong neighborhood, what could you do to figure out a source of survival? Are you looking to strangers to protect you? Are you trying to negotiate and make friends with someone that you don't know? Like, are you looking for alliances to survive? Are you depending on your own physicality, because some people are like that? Are you trying to get a weapon of some kind? And I put myself in all kinds of scenarios. I think that's what actually made me a zombie prep kind of guy, like where I just like to think about those things. Because for me, I was sitting on the couch and I was watching George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Fantastic movie. As I'm watching,
original, right?
Yes.
Or the remake.
No, not
they're
the remake.
Both great.
Yeah, they're
both
both.
great. But the first one, amazing.
There's something about the first one that just freaked me out, and I was like,
amazing.
What would I do in this scenario? And
I love the idea of the mall thing. That's great for that time.
For the first time ever in my mind, I was like, I don't know if I have a solution to surviving, and that was what actually bothered me the most. Was not having a solution, like being stumped, and especially with your life on the line, the last thing you want to do is be stumped. So I started to ingest any sort of content that started to help me to think differently, think about my survival in a way, because like I said, at the end of the day, like, your survival is in your own hands. If someone's coming at you with a knife, hey, good luck to you. If you haven't learned how to do some push-ups and fight the guy off with a knife, then you're screwed. And it's part of, I guess, society where we just expect everybody to save us and fight our battles, but like, it ain't gonna happen. And this is kind of part of the problem with, I think, society to a certain degree, is we just haven't really decided for ourselves, like, hey, this is what we're going to do to survive. And so I just see a lot of, like, even that whole incel stuff that we talked about before, like, I think they're complaining because nobody's defending them.
What is there to defend?
But you're a man. Defend yourself.
No, because they're alphas. They don't need to defend themselves.
No,
that makes
just
no sense.
Who cares what people think? If you can't defend yourself in your own position in life, then of course you deserve to get bullied. That's kind of why you learn how to deal with bullies when you're young, because then when you get older, you know how to defend yourself. That's what we're missing. And now everyone's so sensitive. Oh no, anti-bullying. Well, now you create a generation of wussies.
Okay, well, that's kind of a tangent. So let me go back to the thing. I hear earlier what you said about like how you feel here in America in terms of like not fitting in, and I think whenever I talk, my problem when I talk, this is a little bit of a tangent here for me. I realize that I have trouble generalizing. Instead, what I do is I kind of I'm literally working things out as I go, and then I say my point, which makes it incredibly irritating, not only for myself, but I'm sure for others. But I think I figured out a little bit of what I'm really trying to say, where my disconnect comes from. I think that it all whittles down to community. I don't feel a sense of community in Mexico yet. But mind you can build that sense by being there. But I don't have that there. Where what you described earlier, Doyle, about like here in America, the police may not necessarily be there for you, and feeling, the black man's experience here in America is a sense of community. That's largely missing for you here, because there's a lot of forces that are against you, so you don't feel safe. I get that, or I should say, I think I get that. I don't want to say that I fully get it, because that's not fair to you and your personal experiences, because I genuinely don't think I fully get it. I sort of understand it a little bit.
If you understood what I said, then you get it. Sure.
And so in Mexico, I don't feel a sense of community there. Mind you, that's not their fault. That's me being an outsider. Mm-hmm. The fact that I am a Chicano from here, and that already makes me stick out like a sore thumb. Even though I may look like them, I don't talk like them. I don't have their experiences. And there is a kind of sense. Maybe they haven't shown it to me, because I've sensed nothing but hospitality from those immediate people I get, and they've been lovely people, very nice. But I feel like there's this sort of I get a sense though from the overall community that there's a suspicion around me because of that.
100%. And I've actually had that, and I've also had some sort of prejudice, I guess, against me because I'm pocho. Like I've had it happen to me where, like, I remember, like, the one that always stands out to me is, and this is my family, by the way, in Mexicali. They had a gathering. My cousin had a gathering for her graduation eons ago. I don't remember how long ago it was. I think I was in my 19, I think. I think I was about 18, 19. And she had a gathering. She had just graduated college. She had her friends over and this and that. She had a classmate there that I had never met. This is the first time she was meeting the whole family. And they introduced me and I said hi and this and that. And she asked me questions, this and that. And then I'm talking to her and she's like smiling, looking at me. And then she's like, oh my God, you're adorable. You sound like Eric Estrada.
Sweet. What's up, baby?
And I was like, what? Yeah, you're from, I know you're from over there. You guys talk funny. And I'm like, what the, like, that's the only time that I've gotten that, from someone close like that. I've gotten other, like, I my Spanish isn't the greatest, I'm not going to lie, but I'm out of place.
It's okay. So the reason why I think I'm saying for my position, what I'm saying is like, imagine growing up and not being a gang member when everybody else was gang banging, basically, and you don't speak the lingo. You don't know what she said. You don't know like what they're doing when they throw up hand signs at you, and you're just minding your business and you're walking down the street, and these people look like you. And you would assume that they should be for you and that they should talk to you and that they should be cordial or whatever. But because you're not wearing their colors, they're hostile towards you. That's my experience growing up here, which has instilled this sense of like paranoia and like a heightened sense of a necessity to survive. And so I think that's kind of what you guys are describing. So, I mean, if that's how you feel, I get it. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Got it. So,
incels. Well, you said something interesting about incels, by the way. I find
when
every episode
something interesting about incels.
And speaking of incels, why is there a purple octopus in front of your microphone?
Because it wants me to swallow it.
So you're gonna, what? Every time you put that microphone in your mouth, it's like you're eating pussy. Oh, oops, beep.
Dude. He just had a whole speech off air where it's like, guys, I'm gonna clean up my act. We're gonna stop cussing.
I never said clean up my act, but I said I'm gonna stop cussing. I'm gonna do my best to keep.
And this is your best.
It only lasted like 5 minutes.
To be fair, I've only said 2 bad words so far.
3.
I am an actor.
Prove it.
To the tape.
To the tape.
To the tape.
You're gonna listen back and you go, son of a crap.
Son of a crack.
What is my crime? Remember, eating a meal.
Eating a meal.
Eating a succulent Chinese meal.
Get your hands off my cock.
No, my penis. He goes. Get your hand off my penis.
But I'm gonna say cock instead.
Yes, that's the Kung Fu Judo grip. I'm impressed by your Kung Fu Judo grip.
Rest in peace,
I don't
man.
I don't watch the things you guys watch. What?
Dude, it's the best, dude. It's this Australian guy back. Must have been in the 90s. He was getting arrested for some reason, and they recorded him. And
I think I have seen that.
He speaks with such an air of authority that the first time I saw this clip, I thought, who is this guy? Is he some kind of like news reporter being arrested? Is he a politician? Dude, he's a nobody, but he speaks with so much authority.
Class, dude.
Class. Best
Class
part
that
is
we
like,
don't have.
what is the crime? Is it eating a meal? Eating a succulent Chinese meal? So good.
Yeah,
so good.
It's really we missed you.
Oh, what? You missed these nuts.
His face.
All right. Hey, so, guys, I really been itching to talk to you guys about this because Brian was talking about how much he loved Alien Romulus. Oh, dude. You know what? Man, I love that movie. I love that movie. And I want to talk to you guys about it, but you guys haven't seen it yet, so I don't want to spoil it. But I have to say, man, the movie, the director, married CGI to practical effects to take you into the world in a way that I have not felt in a long while.
A whole new world.
Man, here's the thing. In the movie, they make an in-movie reason for why the aliens don't rush them, so that they don't have to do this whole CGI fake animated thing. But they never once scrimp on the special effects to make the alien feel like he's really moving in places. But you can tell that the majority of it is practical effects. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. What they do in the movie is they're given guns at some point, and they're saying no, you can't use these because their blood is The blood is acid, and we're on the bottom deck of the ship.
Yeah.
So we're gonna, if you do, it's gonna melt through, and we're gonna get airlocked. And so instead, just use them because the alien knows that it's a gun because they were recently killed from it.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, well, if we use the gun, then it'll hopefully hold them back. And sure enough, it does. Anytime they have the guns, the aliens kind of back off. But then at some point, it pays off because they have to use it. Here's the other thing I'm going to say: the video games, man. Video games have it's gone full circle in terms of how
it's a circle.
It is a circle, and they've gone full circle on the self-references and the inspiration, because obviously video games were inspired by Aliens and Terminator and Commando and Rambo, and now movies are being inspired by video games. There's this whole beautiful sequence of Zero G that feels like it belongs in the video game Dead Space, and it feels so much like it that it's palpable. It's beautiful.
Zero G?
Yeah, it's like they're walking through the ship, and all these things are floating around, and they're basically having to push themselves through this stuff, and it feels like a scene from Dead Space or one of those games.
So they played Dead Space
100%, but it doesn't feel like they're stealing it. It just feels natural in the Alien universe.
Yeah, my son watched it. I haven't seen it because I've been busy and I
so
couldn't
good.
have time. And he said it was really enjoyable.
So good. I really, really liked it. It made me re-excited me for the Alien franchise.
Do you agree with Brian's assessment in the order of best Alien movie?
I don't. Remind me again of his order, because I have an order that I have, but yeah, please.
I believe he said it was like third or fourth.
That Romulus was third or fourth.
Yeah.
So for me, first one will always be the best, right?
Yeah, me too.
Second one, the best.
Okay.
Now, if we count Prometheus as an alien movie,
I do.
I would say that's my third favorite.
I think that's my second favorite.
For me, that's my third. So first one is Original Alien. Second one is Aliens.
Yeah.
Third one is Prometheus. And now fourth one is Romulus.
Yeah, for me.
And then fifth one is the
Covenant?
is the sequel. Yeah, the sequel to
Prometheus.
Prometheus.
Covenant, yeah.
Which explains a lot, dude. But mind you, before that movie was a little farther down the line, but because of Romulus, and I recently went back and watched it, I love that movie. It makes so much more sense now.
There's two movies for aliens that I really enjoy, and they're on top for me, and that's Resurrection and Aliens 3.
Remind me, Resurrection is Sigourney Weaver.
She's a hybrid.
Right.
Yeah, I enjoy it, not because it's good, because
of Ron Perlman.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I completely forgot about Ron Perlman.
And Winona Ryder and shit. No, I like the movie because it tried doing something different. Mm-hmm. It failed miserably. It was bad. Mm-hmm. But the one part that always sticks out to me is the aliens, the xenomorphs, swimming in the water.
That's a cool sequence.
That part is great. The rest of it,
yeah.
Throw away.
You know what?
And Sigourney Weaver.
It was a bad movie when
badass.
it came out. It's a great movie now.
Yeah, exactly. And Aliens 3, the cut that we see is terrible in the movies. It's terrible. What he had originally done was a masterpiece, but he couldn't get it because he did not have final cut in that film.
That's too bad. I want to go back and watch those movies, but right now the reason why the movies in my order make sense, it's because in terms of a long form story, that block of movies really tells the Alien saga in such a unique way. In fact, I can even remove Aliens 2. If I wanted to put them in order, I would love to watch Prometheus, watch Romulus, watch Aliens, and then watch Romulus, and that feels like a very complete saga. Everything else after that feels like Aliens but popcorn.
Yeah.
Where those movies tell a story, right? If you think about it, the original Prometheus tells you the possible origins of just the life out in outer space and how the aliens are connected. Then Aliens after that shows you the consequence of that.
Yeah.
Aliens tells the continuing story of Sigourney Weaver in a much better way than the rest of the movies after that did. And then Romulus reconnects you back to Prometheus in such a great way. And then Covenant at the end finalizes the promise that Prometheus does in terms of that character David, the synth David.
Yeah.
Dude, just I'm super excited about the Alien movies just because of Romulus. They did such a great job.
That is great.
Are you a fan?
100%. Like, see, but here's the thing that I really wanted to get on with you guys about. I know we don't got too much time. Is just how beautiful they melded the special effects with practical and CGI. And I can't think of too many examples recently of anybody doing that recently. I mean, obviously going back, that's what it was about. But this movie did such a good job.
Okay.
I wonder what their budget was. I wonder what their mission statement was.
What was done better, the first Alien or Romulus?
Well, I would say the first one. It's a masterpiece. I mean, you hear all the stories of how difficult it was. Just like in Jaws, the prop that they used for Jaws, what did they call them, Bruce? Like it kept on falling apart, and they can only get some shots, but they made those shots work based on the fact that they were very constricted on filming time and quality, just because that thing was falling apart all the time. Well, the same thing happened with Aliens. That their alien model kept on like failing, so they had to get really creative. And I think that ingenuity, that limitation breeds desperation that turns into creativity. When you're desperate, it becomes creativity. I mean, I would even argue, for example, the movie Constantine with Keanu Reeves. Yeah. The director of that was a first-time director because previously he was directing videos. Right. And so he was very good at editing, because in videos you only have like 30 seconds, maybe a minute of that you can sort of change by editing and create a whole new kind of story. And that's what the director would say. He had to do that in Constantine, because he decided that instead of making this big ensemble cast, because he had filmed this whole character that was the girlfriend of Constantine on top of the other girl, Rachel Weisz. And he realized, no, the story I really want to say is Constantine being a loner and alone and constantly alone. And then he wanted to also show Rachel Weisz's character being the same way. So he, in editing, changed the movie. He got rid of this other girl, flipped certain sequences apart that almost mirror Rachel Weisz. So when you watch these movies, Constantine is usually filmed from the left side, and Rachel Weisz is filmed from the right, and he was able to figure that out in editing. Desperation breeds ingenuity and creativity. That movie is a much better movie because of it.
I agree.
And I would imagine that in Romulus, the reason why that turned out to be so good was because the director had a limited budget. He had a big scope that he wanted to create, and he was trying to work with the idea, I need practical effects.
I haven't looked into it. That may be right, but I don't think it is.
Okay.
Because in Hollywood right now, there is a renaissance of practical effects.
Right.
Oppenheimer was all practical effects. Okay. Evil Dead Rises, practical effects. They really used very minimal CGI. They're now going around going, hey, you know what? Let's not do any CGI. You know, so
isn't the movie cheaper if you do it practically?
No, not anymore.
No,
not anymore, because it used to be, but nowadays it's not. CGI is cheaper because now the practical effects, on-camera effects, is more expensive than what you can get with CGI nowadays, because they let it die. It's kind of like animation. Animation is more expensive these days than it used to be back in the 30s, because in the 30s, you had studios that were just like, there's your desk, there's your ink, there's your cellophane, you know, get to work. And you would just draw, pay them pennies. Now, it's like, it's a lost art. So you don't really get a lot of animators out there that can do it the old way. They use computers, they use, you know, CGI, Pixar and all that crap.
Well,
so now it's more expensive if you want to do a single cell drawing.
It's so weird. I get like paying the people to do the job and then like them wanting more money. I get that making it more expensive, but like just the element of like production should be cheaper. It just doesn't make sense. Like, I don't even know how they justify that, you know, and I'm not gonna rant, but it just it's an injustice, because you went from having all these props and practical effects, and like, you know, if it was up to me, I'd go on OfferUp and save a lot of money and, you know, build a prop list.
I think what happened was in the 90s, people got really excited with what computers were doing, and they envisioned this dream of making new worlds be more alive and having the creativity and also the freedom to realize those worlds. I think that practical effects on some level are is limiting in the mind for people who are creating, because they realize that their limitation besides their imagination is also whether it's a practical thing they can build. Mind you, obviously there's some like fallacy in that, because we've been watching movies since the 80s where these beautiful worlds have come to life. But I imagine that what happens is directors and whoever think, okay, well, maybe we can bring it to life by putting it on CG. Now, I can tell you that Aliens uses CGI in such a beautiful way that it's pretty much relegated to building the outside world around them. Whereas the creatures themselves, the things that we need to feel real, are all done with practical effects. And so it says here, like I'm reading an article from Bloody Disgusting where Fede Alvarez, the guy who directed it, he basically says that he, for the creatures, we brought in all the guys from Aliens. I didn't know that, but they brought all the guys from Aliens. And he says they were in their early 20s when they first made Aliens, and they were a part of Stan Winston's special effects team. And now we had them at the top of their game. They have their own shops, and so we brought them all together to work on all the creatures, because we went with all animatronics and puppets at every level. So it sounds to me like it was expensive. I didn't know that. That's crazy. But that's why it worked, because they had like 30, 40 years of experience all in one room working on one movie, and it shows, man. It pays off.
Well, if that's, the case, then that makes sense why it would be so expensive, because you brought in pros. But, like these amateur filmmakers, and this is a whole nother topic for a whole nother episode. Hollywood has gotten so much more expensive, and it sucks. Everything is crap now. Like, I'm gonna save this rant, but that new Crow movie is god awful.
And did you watch it?
Let's just put it this way.
He watched it.
I
watched it.
Like half of it, and I rage quit. I want to tell you guys
Send me the link.
It is at the top of the first Crow movie is my all-time favorite movie.
Yes.
So I was not anticipating this movie. I was like vehemently getting more angry the closer we got to the release, because I knew how bad it was going to be, and I started to watch it just because I needed to see what kind of train wreck this was. And I got halfway through the movie and I was so irritated, I cut it off, and I pushed myself back from the screen.
Okay.
And I had to meditate.
So that's the newest movie that you did not finish, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I normally
Enrique, I always finish them no matter what.
Yeah.
Almost. But I have mine, Madam Web. It was on Netflix. I tried watching it. After I think 30 minutes, I stopped, and I haven't gone back. What about you, Enrique? What movie have you just stopped watching?
Nothing. I can honestly tell you, I can't think of any movie that I've not watched because I was hating it. And in fact, I tend to kind of know beforehand if it's something I'm interested in. And thankfully, so far, movies that I've invested my time in have been movies that I've either finished. And if I didn't finish, it wasn't because I didn't like them. It was just because if I watch them at home, I tend to get lazy and I pause, and then I say I'll come back to it. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do. It's really bad.
That's what happened with Madam Web. I watched it at home. I paused it because I don't know. I had to take a shit or something. I had to do something.
Beep.
Yeah, I had to take a beep. Yeah. So I had to do something, and I don't remember. I think I was to pick up my kid from football practice, and I left, and I'm like, I'll watch it later. And then when I got home, I'm like, hey guys, you want to watch a movie? And then we watch something else.
Sure.
And that's how it happened. And then I'm like,
The Crow and Madam Web have something in common.
What?
They both are like the same. They're shot almost like if they reuse footage from one of those crappy movies to the next.
Wow.
I'm telling you, there's like 5 or 6 movies that fit within this genre that they're all crap, and they all
watched
looked.
Morbius on Netflix. And I finished it.
Morbius is one. Madam Web is one. Deadshot with Vin Diesel is another one. Yeah. And now
cash grabs.
Yeah, they all look like they're shot by the same cinematographer. Yeah. And I don't know what it is about why. I don't know if they're all Sony.
They're Sony.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, Deadshot I don't think is, but I know the other ones are.
Just to go back on topic, I feel like part of the problem with these studios is
money hungry.
Well, for sure, money hungry. That is the most obvious answer. But I also think that what's really shifting in the Hollywood, and I don't have any proof of this, it just sort of seems like it, that directors are being given a little bit more say in how their budget goes into special effects versus the fact.
Nay.
Okay, well, let me finish the thought and then you can nay it, because
Okay.
I feel like the past 15 years, it's been more like, here's the budget, here's the house you're working with. You're only going to do CGI. Don't do anything else with it, and that's that. And then directors have to sort of like find a way to make it work. But I feel like every director that's done interviews seems like they have a little bit more freedom. But you're going to say that that's not the case?
That's not the case. Madam Web, case in point.
That was the point.
Everyone who signed up for that, they've all pointed the finger at someone else, which is not fair, first of all. Second of all,
Yeah, it is. Have you seen that movie?
yes, I saw 30
No, you
minutes of
did
it. Yeah. I saw 30 minutes of it. But every single one has pointed the fingers at everyone else except for the director. The director said, this is not the movie that I wanted to be released. Same thing with the Suicide Squad, the original, not the
David Ayer?
Yeah, David Ayer. That's not the movie he wanted. The studios got involved. Long time ago, most directors lost Final Cut. They do not get Final Cut anymore. They get screwed over because the movie industry is a business, and for some odd reason we have now CFOs, CEOs, and all these people in charge of executives in charge of the studios. They believe that they are the filmmakers. They believe they know what's best. So what happens is, and it's been going on for about 30 years, maybe more. They'll come in and there's too many chefs in the kitchen. Let's say we three are executives. Enrique,
You're fired.
We made the Ouchcast movie, right? And then I come on board and I say, okay, well, actually, no, let's not say we made it. Let's say Renee made the Ouchcast movie. So Renee makes the Ouchcast movie, and then we come on board as the
I wanna be
executive,
taller.
as the
I want to be black.
I'm Asian. So we come on board, and all of a sudden we change it. All of a sudden we make Doyle a woman,
Sorry.
right? All of a sudden it's not a podcast. We're crime fighters. Why? Because Avengers just came out, and we want to get some of that Avenger money.
Then it sounds like I can't be black then.
I want to be played by Taraji P. Henson.
Am I a DJ?
You're getting Terrence Howard and dragging that shit up.
Terrence Howard.
Man, you know what? Can you guys replace me with
my
Don
God.
Cheadle? Though I love that guy. Don Cheadle is like a national treasure.
Only if he speaks in his Hotel Rwanda accent throughout the whole movie.
No, dude, I want him to be Sammy Davis Jr. again, like in the Rat Pack movie from the
my
90s.
God, that's
Did you guys
right.
ever watch that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God, he was so good in that. So good in
Anyway,
that.
so what happens is we put all our fingers in it and take out parts of the original story. And what happens is we release that. The director, Renee, has no hearsay whatsoever in it. It bombs because it's a piece of shit. So what happens? All fingers point at Renee. He had nothing to do with it. It was us three.
Yeah.
And what do? Move to the side, go to the next project.
Well, they always say that the movie it's made in 3 segments. It's the script, it's the director who films it, and then it's the editing.
Yeah. And
so,
what happens is... Sorry
I
to cut
saw
you
that
off.
video too, Doyle.
What happens
What
is...
video?
The executives pat themselves on the back all the time. If it's
course.
a big hit, they're responsible for it. If it's a piece of shit, it's always the director's
Yeah.
fault.
Do you know why? Bonuses.
Yeah, because they're fucking assholes.
You were gonna say
Yeah.
boners.
Yeah, studio
Bonuses,
executives.
because the executives, if they hit a certain milestone in sales, which is why for some reason, even though the studios are losing all of this money on the films, but they're still turning a profit because they're still cutting corners where they need to. These studios are still increasing in their stocks, and they're still making money, and the making money part is bonuses for them.
So
they
guys-
don't care about the art.
Alien Romulus was made on an $80 million budget.
Yeah.
80 million, dude. That's nothing in Hollywood. 80
That's
million
nothing.
is
Yeah.
nothing. And you know how much it made so far? 229 million. That is a bona fide hit.
But that's what happens every time you cut the funding for these movies. It's all these overpriced pieces of crap that suck. The Crow, look up how much The Crow costs to make, and then you'll see like you put too much money into the movie, and you got too many voices trying to come up with something instead of keeping it small and
Yeah.
just letting a few people work.
If they paid for the new reboot, if they paid for The Crow more than 10 million, then that was $10 million wasted.
So
I'm sorry.
here's the thing. Okay, so I suspect that
$10 is more than that
About
piece of
$350.
Well, okay,
Ooh, I'm getting-
I have there's two thought processes I'm having because I really want to ask questions on what you're talking about though, because I really wanted a Crow movie to come out that I like, but I haven't liked any since the original Crow, and I have like tons of questions on that because I really want to know like why it's so bad. I can tell in the commercials why it's so bad. There is nothing visually interesting about the movie in the trailer. It doesn't look like a Crow movie. It looks like a bad romance with some dude wearing like little stripes on his eyes.
Actually-
I don't get it.
Okay, I'm gonna make this very quick.
Yes,
I don't hate Skarsgård. I don't hate.
I love him.
Yeah,
No,
I don't hate
love
him.
him.
I don't
Love
hate
him.
him. I don't hate him as the character, but I'm gonna just say that 3/4 of the movie is a romance, and then the rest of the movie, like the last 20 minutes, he becomes the Crow. That right there should tell you everything you need to know.
That's too bad.
Yeah, and then it has nothing to do with the Crow. So he is empowered by being in love instead of empowered by the Crow.
Message.
Yeah, because the in the movie the original Crow and in the comic books the Crow is supposed to be a messenger, like
It's
a
tethered.
Native American god or some connection that gives him power because he died in rage.
Hence the title,
Yeah.
The Crow.
Right, he
But
died in
this
rage.
movie is about him being in love,
Ugh.
and so he heals because he loves her.
Scott Pilgrim earned the privilege of love or the
Self-respect.
self-respect. No, first it was love, remember?
Love, yeah.
I would rather eat a fresh piece of feces than to watch that piece of crap again.
For the record, guys, I love you guys.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Right now, I don't feel love. I'm feeling very angry.
Oh yeah.
Because you're talking about the Crow?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like
Sorry.
Hulk right now. You wouldn't like me where I'm angry.
So you said a bit ago about like usually when you cut the budget down, you tend to get like bigger budget movies or rather bigger returns, and there's some truth to that. Not always, but there's some truth to that. I think I think I look at $80 million and I think hungry, vision, and I think ingenuity, because I'm thinking this guy needs to figure out how to make the vision he wants. And my guess is that the studio gave him enough freedom to do that. Right? They said, here's the movie you're going to make. And then he was given some, because dude, $80 million is nothing. So the studio is going to be like, yeah, you know, if you fail, who cares? So we left him alone. It wasn't an altruistic thing that they did. They just let him alone. And guess what? He made gold. That's what I'm saying. He
I
just
don't
made
think
gold.
I don't think the movie studio was like that. Is it the movie
God
studio?
damn you! Shut up, Angel. Just fucking agree with. Oh,
No, the movie studio did not care. That's what it was.
that's what I just said.
No, but you're acting like, oh, they said, go ahead, do whatever you want. No, it's just they didn't care. Because it's the same reason why HBO Max is writing off a bunch of movies off because of the taxes. They get better returns of that way. It's a loss.
I'm gonna send you a gif
business
of
money.
a girl having like wiener dogs thrown at their face, and that's for you.
And on that note, thank you for joining us at the Ouchcast Studios. Middle fingers right at me.
Lasers,
Laser.
Major laser.
laser beam.
Doyle, anything to say?
Somebody to lean on.
Okay. Enrique,
Hot dogs on your face.
anything to pitch?
Yeah, Bob. nothing to pick.
www.ouchcast.com
Why do you?
for everything ouch.
And remember, Alien Romulus is pretty good, according to Enrique, because and Doyle and me haven't seen it.
I'm gonna spoil this movie for you guys.
Oh, shut up. Goodbye.
Squid Squad.